Yo, what is good? My anime people, what is good, yo? I honestly thought this show wasn't gonna be all that, or not this show, this battle wasn't gonna be all that great, but it relatively turned out to be a good one. Not only did we get to see Boruto fight by himself and what that might just look like, but we got to see a decent outcome of his demeanor and just what he's willing to do while he's in these situations that, heaven forbid, if, he's by himself, he supposedly loses this battle, which I kind of don't like at the same time, but I understand it because, I mean, let's be fair. Things in this show just don't always go according to plan for the main character. And if it did, he would have caught the guy off guard and we would have ended the show. But because Boruto is going against someone that clearly has seen some crazy stuff and knowing that he's seen the mark, not the, yeah, the mark before that was on Boruto's hand, that gave even more of an indicator that whatever he had seen had something to do with the level of Momoshiki and that type of stuff. Because as Miski noticed, he's like, "Oh, you got that mark on your hand after dealing with Momoshiki." It's like you can't hide something from someone who actually wants to know all about you and focus that, like, all their attention on that fact in general. So to know that, Mitsuki saw it, it was pretty obvious, for him anyway, that something was off with Boruto probably. So this was another good way of just making his character understand that much more of Boruto and just, overall looking into his business. But with everything that pops off against this big boy and his win jutsu that he had on top of his eating brain jutsu, he seems like a pretty strong opponent. Like they're not like, oh yeah, there's this really weak guy that sucks at everything, like, and he can't really do anything. They actually put Boruto up against a relatively strong fighter, and because of that, it feels a little bit better that they made it so he didn't win, I guess, by himself. But at the same time, um, with his seal or his mark on his hand, like popping off and growing, and not only that, looking like it was draining his Rasengan or something and spitting it out. I honestly don't know what they're going to do as a whole with that mark, but from what people are actually saying about the manga, in the case of just if it's good or if it's bad, this mark is what I pretty much had to stay away from because any more information about it, and people will be like, oh, yep, that's a spoiler. So I'm not going to spoil you guys. But from what I understand is this fight was really just more or less to help us see the mark on Boruto's hand and kind of get an understanding of what is possible with it if he grows and learns how to control it even better than his Rasengan and stuff like that. It just kind of goes to show you that he will be in a position to absolutely devastate some people. And not only that, that with Sasuke hearing about this somehow, or maybe Boruto telling Sasuke dead out, like, yo, I I have the mark that you told me not to tell people about, and as soon as someone else saw it, this guy that we have captured, he knew about it, and that there's an organization supposedly that knows about it as well. So it didn't take Sasuke long. Plus, he might not even have heard that because Sasuke knew about the people of the underbelly of the ninja world, so that just goes to show you that he knew these people and he was probably going to track them down if he could and take care of them himself. But by one of them, by the leader being captured, that took a lot of work out of his time, And that's got to be probably the reason why Sasuke heard that something related to Boruto happened, including if his big mouth daughter had something to say about it. Don't tell anybody, but Sasuke knows, and then she just goes over to Sasuke and tells him that she knows. I can see that. It's something that she could try to share with her father in the case of information wise and be able to feel some type of way about that. I could see that, but again, I want to say that her loyalty is powerful enough to not even tell her father, even in the case of him already quote unquote knowing and telling Boruto not to tell. I don't know. It just feels like something Sada would do is not tell anybody just because she can. And if she does tell somebody, we'll see how Boruto handles that if he does anyway. So overall, though, I feel like this show might be able to get away with just slowly but surely getting to everything. Because if you look at the opening song, there's a whole bunch of crap going on in there that clearly, if it doesn't happen soon, it's going to happen later. We got the people in the black suits that this guy was talking about at the end of the episode in the opener song. And then we finally get to see Kawaki ever since the very first episode, and he's actually in this song. So that's another good indicator that we're getting much, much closer to seeing things that actually relate to the grand scheme of what Boruto is supposed to be about. Because check this out. Um, at the end of the day, why is it that when we were watching all this stuff, it felt like nothing was happening with this mark in the case of it growing to the size that it did, or even glowing blue, right? Um, all of these things are because the show has permission to do stuff like that, right? Or like they're on the position now where that stuff can grow and that stuff can like, be elaborated on instead of just being like, okay, he's gonna go and fight some things that don't matter and do a whole bunch of crap that don't matter, and it's not gonna boost his power, it's not gonna change the mark, you know what I mean? So to see everything actually that's happening lead to something bigger in the future is what I really strive for and hope to see in this show. So to finally actually see it now is nice. Um, to actually know that this is a thing and we're not just getting bamboozled for another like 100 episodes. It's actually coming, and that's nice to see. So I am not saying that all of the fillers were absolutely terrible, but they just didn't honestly feel like they belonged in the story, which I understand if you want to take as much time as possible to get to those points. If you just want those points to look amazing and you're trying to get all the best animators on it and stuff like that. Like, look at the Momoshiki fight compared to the movie, and look at the anime, right? Like, if you ask people which one do you like better, they usually pick the anime, which is unheard of because you know how much time and effort you can put into a movie compared to an anime. You would think it would be an easy choice on what to pick there. So that was pretty cool that the anime really did show up in that moment to just give us an understanding that there can be some amazing stuff popping off in here, but they're going to have to build up to it. They're going to have to let us really get an understanding of the whole entire way they want to tell us the story and stuff like that. So as of now, I'm just looking forward to seeing how they plan to straight up give us more and more information about the book, like the Naruto verse as a whole, because as of now, it just feels like they're getting to the stuff that we should have been at a while ago. So now that we're actually here and we're seeing what can be possible, I'm just excited to see what Boruto and the crew will become in the future because their abilities are already pretty strong. You see how many times Boruto can throw a Rasengan or press someone with a Rasengan as many times as he did before he was tired. That's the type of stuff that is truly going to grow and become a factor in the story, including since Boruto as a character hasn't been shown to defeat like anybody really by himself, right? So he still has a lot of growing to do, which I like about it. It took Naruto a while until he was just a one-man wrecking crew, and even when he was trying to be a one-man wrecking crew, there was still a lot of beatings he had to take before he even got to the point where he can, fight multiple people by himself, let alone one person that's at the high levels. So we'll see how all this plays out. I definitely want to hear what you guys are thinking about Boruto at the end of the day, because now things are popping off and it feels like we're getting everything I expected to get earlier, but it's just now coming. So, with all that being said, everybody, have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be when you're watching this. I am your boy, the Anime G, and I will definitely talk to you sooner than later. So, with that being said, take care, peace.